insightful speech and workshop. Thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate your true contribution, and also we look forward to more impactful initiatives like this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Art felt thank you to also all our speakers as well for their tremendous speeches and innovative ideas. Thank you very much. I will now give the floor to Mr. Obina, the president of NGEX, who will be moderating the question and answer session. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Obina.
Oh, yes. Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. And
Applause.
Oh.
Applause.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Elizabeth. And thank you, Honorable Minister, for the wonderful, insightful, and detailed speech and presentation. I mean, this is way beyond even what I expected. And I think it puts a lot of things in perspective and gives us a lot of opportunity to understand things better. And I like your parting words where you said, let's build the future together. And I think that's something that's very encouraging. And I think we as the diaspora are going to respond to that and tell you that, yes, we are committed to building the future together. I'm glad that you are championing that initiative as well. So going to the questions. And so, like I said earlier, please, if you have questions, put them in the chat. We won't be having any voice questions in here. So if you put them in the chat, they can be collated, and then I'll read them out to the minister. Honorable Minister, if we can just start off with you said a lot of things about the opportunity in agriculture. You really talked about where the opportunities are. But one question is, knowing what the diaspora potential is, the challenges they face, the kind of resources they have, and talent. What are the, let's say, top 3 areas that you think are good opportunities for the diaspora to focus on and invest in? And how can the diaspora work with your ministry directly to actualize those opportunities? Is he there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Like I said, like there are no two investors that are the same. We're looking at where the opportunities, someone is looking at how maybe areas of cold storage, for instance. I've seen people sending us requests in terms of developing cold storage driven by solar, for instance, because these are areas where we have challenges, especially the power infrastructure. But we are taking advantage of our renewable energy sources in the country. But like I said, we have areas where we have some kind of advantage in terms of the products. I have seen, even though our production is not high, but soybeans seem to be something that is on the rise. Ginger is also on the rise in terms of production. Cashew, for instance, is something that I think I've left behind, but this cashew that is being exported in its raw form. Today, Thailand is one of the biggest exporters of cashew, but they actually import 80 to 85% of their cashew, but they process it and export it and stamp made in Thailand on their products. But it's mainly coming from Africa. So these are areas where I think we can take advantage of. And also areas like rice processing, for instance. There's a huge gap between rice production and processing. We have the capacity to process maybe about 3 million tons of rice. However, we produce over about 10 million tons of rice annually. And the rest of that difference is being done maybe at the local level. But if we could have a huge um, uh, processing facilities, that would be somewhere there, one of those areas that can be taken advantage. Then we also have one program that is aided by the African Development Bank. It's called the Special Agro Processing Zone, the SAPZ. The first phase is about $500 million. And we have 8 participating states, 7 plus FCT. And in the second phase, it seeks to attract even up to $4 billion in terms of investment. And then we have had 27 states have signified interest. These are areas where we're going to build infrastructure at peri-urban areas where we're going to have production and aggregation and processing. Those are areas that I think it's another window for our brothers and sisters to take advantage of and bring in the required expertise in trying to build up the production and the processing capacity and the opportunities that exist in the agricultural space. And let me, I've just been reading some of the messages. Allow me to just answer one because I think it's something that is very, very important, and for our diasporans to know what is going on. And I have seen the big question about insecurity. And this is something that I think we need to discuss about because not only that you be affected, but even the fear of something happening to you is even in itself something that will be very, very detrimental and for creates, fear in investment cycles. And I'm sure people living in diaspora will always have that question at the back of their mind because we do also, the ones that we are locally situated here in Nigeria. But what we have seen within the last 18 months is even we wouldn't have had the bumper harvest that we've had if there was no access, if we have no increased access to farmland, and if there is no increase, the decrease in the insecurity. What we have seen within the last 18 months is the commitment of the president and the Nigerian armed forces in trying to tackle the insecurity, whether it is terrorism, whether it is banditry, kidnapping, and so on and so forth, or agitation by separatists and things like that. This year's budget, 2025, I'm sure you're probably aware that Mr. President has budgeted the largest chunk to defense and security. I believe it's somewhere around 6 trillion naira that was appropriated for defense and security. And I'm sure that is a deliberate issue to make Nigeria a peaceful, because if there's no peace, there's no development. And if there's no development, there's no peace. So actually, it's a catch-22 situation that we need to do assiduously work on both sides and to see that that is also mitigated.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for peeping into the chat and answering that question. Yes, like you mentioned, insecurity is definitely top of mind. But we know it's we're running behind and it's late in Nigeria. But if you can please bear with us, I'm sure you're seeing the questions coming in. It's been a very interesting conversation. So please bear with us while we keep you up for a few more minutes and go through the questions. Some questions came in previously before the session, so I'll just read some of them and then go back into the chat. One question was, is there a policy in place or intended to be developed that can help people in the diaspora facilitate the procurement of agricultural land ownership documentation? Without good legal title, raising of capital for any serious agricultural endeavor is seriously hampered.
Well, land, federal government does not own land. The land belongs to the state. And I'm sure you could see the heightened involvement of state governments, state governors, in keying into President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's food security agenda, that a lot of state governors and governments have risen up. I'm even going to Ekiti State tomorrow morning. I'm leaving at 7:30 in the morning. I just spoke with the governor, and the interest is there, even though he won't be there tomorrow. He will be attending the inauguration of the Ondo State governor tomorrow in Akure. But we'll go ahead and we're visiting a cassava farm. But generally, what it is that a lot of state governments and governors have opened their arms. I remember at the beginning of this program, somebody had mentioned that Governor of Niger State, Governor Umaru Mohammed Babu, had also come over to Canada and said, look, I have land, you can come and invest. So I have been to huge expanse of land that has been given to large-scale farmers. In Nasarawa State, Olam is cultivating 14,000 hectares of rice fields, that they have a 230,000 metric tons of rice meal processing capacity in a village, where that facility has turned around the livelihood of the villagers. From mud huts to thatch roof, they are now building block houses with aluminum roofing sheets. So you could clearly see the impact of that investment that has turned to the livelihood of the community in those areas. And also for the investor also making money at the end of the day. So we are working together with the state governments. They have shown commitment in trying to give and assist any investor that will come and invest in their state, and things are being worked out. Some states have, in fact, I learned even another state had given farmland worth 50,000 hectares in 2 different locations for an investor to come and invest in large-scale mechanization farming. So it's open. And like I said, we can facilitate at the federal level. We can discuss and talk with them and give them all the incentives that there is within the federal government, whether it is duty exemption, the investment opportunities and what have you. So, and then also connect them with the state governments for the provision of the land. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. I know you mentioned you have an early flight, so we'll just try to go through the questions. So people in the chat, please bear with us. If we don't get to your question, we'll do a follow-up session later and then communicate the responses. So Honorable Minister, I know I'd asked you earlier, it said in terms of engaging with your ministry, you had said, expression of interest, then followed by tailored engagements, and then you've mentioned some priority areas. But if you look at the diaspora, especially as a block, and saying, okay, it's we, we're all related. What do you suggest as the best way for the diaspora to engage with your ministry?
Well, first, I would like to go back to my sister, the Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, that had cause to introduce legitimate diasporans to the ministry, and had cause to assist them from our own point of view. So I think the first step is some of these organizations that, especially with this, is there's a commission set up to take care of the welfare of diasporans. And I believe the first entrance will be through the commission, through the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs or Federal Ministry of Trade and Industry, so that we can collaborate and for us to know precisely this, because sometimes you may be speaking with, you understand what I'm saying, but it has to be some legitimate diasporans. But when we have a platform like this that are legitimate, so that is, you can relate to us, and we can also, go through the commission.
Okay. Yes, so thank you for that. Honorable Abike has been doing. So just trying to wrap up here. I know you talked about the livestock ministry and the role of the, I guess, your ministry. If you can just quickly talk about the difference, because a lot of questions come up about that, right? Are they intertwined? How separate are they, and what are the different functions?
Okay. We have about others are statutory departments, but like in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security before now, we've had something there about 16, uh, about 19 departments, out of which only 2 had gone to livestock, which is veterinary uh, uh, department and also animal husbandry. So poultry is also under animal husbandry. And then veterinary is about animal health. And those 2 departments have moved to the livestock department. Then we also have we had the fisheries department that has gone to marine and blue economy. So what it is that even when I came, I looked at the budget provision of those to do with livestock, the 2 departments. You could see that the emphasis is not there. They were taking only about 5% of the budget provision, and the attention really has not been there. You could also appreciate the fact that the kind of, especially in terms of cattle, in terms of dairy, we have not been able to take advantage of those huge potential that exist in that climate. And the way we are doing, like the livestock herding, the herders farmers clashes that has been ongoing because there was no direct um, uh, commitment in trying to change the way of tending to cattle, where we could also, look at like I said, dairy production in some places, even in Morocco, even in Kenya, we have seen cattle giving about 15 liters, 20 liters a day, while our fully grown cattle could barely make a liter and a half a day. So I think the emphasis and the committed, direct emphasis to livestock and to create the potential of the huge, the value change potential that exists in livestock. We have seen places, Brazil, doing $5 billion a year, one company in livestock. So, and we have the land, we have the grazing, we have the pasture, and we have the technique. I think by the time we develop the land livestock, we'll be able to capture those potentials. So ranching is something that is here and is going to be done assiduously. I don't want to speak too much because that's not my mandate, but it was my mandate. But now there's a new ministry. Like I said, we're in the process. It has been set up. The permanent secretary of that ministry is actually from the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and all the departmental heads in the 2 departments have moved also to the Ministry of Livestock Development.
Okay. All right. Yes, thank you for that. It clarifies a lot of things. Sorry, I know it's really late, and thank you so much for staying up with us. Just before we let you go, just one final question. What would you like to have as your legacy as the Honorable Minister? What would you like to leave behind?
Well, sometimes when you are challenged with so many things, let me just give you a brief example of what has happened in 2023. I'm sure you must be all aware in 2022, sometime around October, when government decided to change the currency, the color of the currency. And that impacted on supply of cash. Most of our farmers live in rural areas where there are no financial institutions, no banks. Most of their trade is done with physical cash, whether you are paying farm labor or whether you are paying input supplier, whether you are selling your produce, it's all cash based. And that October in 2022 was at the point of harvest. That had a disastrous effect on the harvest of 2022, where farmers had to slash the prices of those commodities just to raise the little capital they need to pay the farm hands for harvesting of their produce. Then fast track 2023, right around February, March, there was no cash and they needed to prepare land and also plant and buy inputs for the 2023 cultivation season. So my legacy that I want to beyond anything else is to turn those smallholder farmers to agri businesses. I have always said that farmers should not only farm for their stomach, but also farm for their pockets as well. Once we can have access to farmers, the smallholder farmers, and turn them into businessmen, I think we would see the kind of potentials in agriculture that exist in Canada and exist in United States of America. Because what is happening today is farmers are being supported based on the farming cycle. Today, if it's government or if it's an NGO, will give them access to finance, they will give them access to the next harvest. When they harvest, they sell, they pay back. They don't have enough money again to invest in the future, and they're being cycled like that year in, year out. So with what is going on today, like I said, it has never happened in the history of modern Nigeria today that 1.5 trillion naira will be given to the Bank of Agri for onward lending, credit lending, so that a farmer will be given a business loan that will be amortized over a period of time, not necessarily over just one harvest cycle. We have seen, I'm a politician, I have stood for 6 elections. I have campaigned both for my own election and for the general party elections. And every time I go to rural areas, I have seen those places have not changed in the past 50 years. And I dare anybody who comes from a rural area of agrarian area, those farming communities have not changed in the past 50 years. They're still the same. If anything, those that have changed, you will probably see schools that were built by UBEC or TED Fund and so on and so forth. But nothing has changed. The buildings have not changed. There's still poor farmers. And why is that? Where is all the money that is being made from agriculture going to? Why is it not going and impacting on the farmer? Today, the farmer is called the last mile. I look at them as the first mile. I look at those small-time farmers. They should be able to own farmlands. They should have to have their own CFOs on their own farmlands. They should be able to have tractors, whether it is communal, whether it is self or leased, so that they can do their land preparation. They should have harvesters that can do harvest and turn around those farms immediately for the next cycle of cultivation without having to cry to anyone. And I believe that is when I would say, yes, I have achieved something. So for me, we have started doing farmland registration with farmer registration. It's a huge project. We intend to, at least in the first phase, to register 2 million farmers across the country so that we have a bio data with biometric backed farmer registry. And you will have a NIMSI card that is called the G2P. They will have wallets inside. So even if Bank of Africa wants to lend you money, it will lend you into that wallet. And you will not be able to cash that unless you are the one, because you have either your fingerprint or your iris or your facial recognition for the POS to identify that it is you, that you're going to enjoy that intervention and support from government, or whether from the credit facility from the banks. So those are areas that I'm looking at, and I believe will be able to impact on the smallholder farmer, and then turn agriculture around and make it into business.
Wow. Thank you so much,
Mm-hmm.
Honorable Minister. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It's been a wonderful time with you. We've learned so much. We've heard so much from the Minister. Thank you, everyone, for making this a very fruitful and wonderful session. For me, as an IT professional, my comment will be that, Minister, please look in the area of introducing artificial intelligence, more mechanization, and more biotechnology into the agri sector. Thank you very much, sir. On the final note, I want to bring my chairman and president